Live, the morning show on NECN.
Right now at 8 on NECN, Home Alone. The investigation underway after an NSTAR employee makes an unexpected discovery.
Also coming up, where attorneys for the surviving Boston Marathon bombing suspect hope to move his trial.
Clippers controversy continuing. The legal battles between Donald Sterling and his wife are escalating. So glad you're starting your morning with us here on NECN. I'm Bridget Blythe.
Good morning to you, and I'm Justin Michaels, and good morning to you, New England. We'll talk about all those stories, many others coming up, but first we do want to check your forecast. Matt, talk about humidity, talk about warmth. It's been nice with the sun, but you say the weekend is going to be even better.
Weekend looks great. We'll be up around 80 degrees.
An investigation is underway right now after a young child was found alone in Boston.
Yeah, police say a utility worker made the shocking discovery yesterday morning. Our Nicole Jacobs is live outside the Methuen apartment where this scene unfolded. Nicole, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Justin.
So far, no charges have been filed, Justin.
In other news here, Bridget, juveniles convicted of first-degree murder in Massachusetts are now one step closer to parole eligibility. Under the bill, which has now been approved by the House, a person convicted of first-degree murder between their 14th and 18th birthdays could be parole eligible after serving 20 to 25 years in prison. Now, crimes involving deliberate or extreme cruelty would require serving 25 to 30 years before being parole eligible. The bill now heads to the Senate for approval. And also from Beacon Hill today, a Bill of Rights for nannies. It's awaiting Governor Patrick's signature. The bill establishes labor standards and worker protections for caregivers and also other domestic workers. The House passed the bill. The Senate unanimously approved that legislation last month.
Now to new developments.
Looking in the battle for Iraq, lawmakers are becoming more and more concerned today.
President Obama has briefed congressional leaders on the recent seizure of Iraq's largest oil refinery. And we have our Christy Lee live in the newsroom with more on this for us. Christy.
Britain, Justin.
All right, Christy, thanks. A Massachusetts man accused of trying to bring two guns to Boston University's graduation ceremony will be back in court today. Police say 28-year-old Andrea Massa had two loaded 9mm handguns in his pants pockets. They say he became confrontational when asked to undergo a security screening. Massa was at BU to attend his sister-in-law's graduation.
A man allegedly operating a large...
Bridget, students are heading back to class in one Massachusetts town after a very scary scene unfolded Wednesday. The Pine Hill School in Sherborne was locked down for nearly 2 hours after students thought they saw a man with a gun. Officials determined there was never any threat to those students. To Hartford now, a man there is accused of killing a man he met through Craigslist to buy a tablet. Is being held right now on $1.5 million bail. 22-year-old Rashad Moon is charged with first-degree murder. Police say Moon shot and killed Felix De Jesus when they met in person.
A prosecutor in New Hampshire.
Well, the Clippers controversy continues today, this time between LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling and his wife. Lawyers for Shelley Sterling will ask a judge to order Sterling and his attorneys to not threaten, harass, or intimidate her legal team. The order would also cover the doctors who determined that Sterling was mentally incapacitated. Donald Sterling is also challenging the sale of the team to former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer for $2 billion. The NBA wants Sterling out because of racist comments he made to a former girlfriend. 3 Democrats in Massachusetts are hoping to become the next governor. They squared off in a debate hosted by Boston's NPR station WBUR. Don Berwick, Martha Coakley, and Steve Grossman addressed a number of issues in their first debate since the state party convention. On gun control, all say they would sign the bill recently proposed by House Speaker Robert DeLeo. But Berwick and Grossman don't feel it goes far enough.
On through and would make it even more stringent.
Now, none of the candidates support the death penalty for accused marathon bomber Jahar Tsarnaev or the legalization of marijuana for recreational use. And that's just one of the many political stories making headlines this morning. Joining us live from our Suffolk University studios in downtown Boston to break all this down, all these issues, Boston Globe political reporter Joshua Miller. Joshua, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Great to be with you.
All right. So, Josh, we have about 4.5 months, I give or take a couple days, but 4.5 months until this gubernatorial showdown comes to a head and we have an election, right? So things are heating up between these candidates.
Yeah, they are heating up, and that debate was...
And Josh, talking about campaign finance reform, this is something coast to coast. It's a hot button issue, Republicans and Democrats alike. These three are dealing with this topic, too.
Yeah, that's something that is...
All right, and that's Joshua Miller with the Boston Globe live for us there at the Suffolk University studios. Josh, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
A very good morning to you, New England. Your time right now, 8:30. I'm Justin Michaels. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm Bridget Blythe. We'll also say good morning to Chief Meteorologist Matt Noyes, who's checking our forecast. Hey, Matt.
We have new developments now in the Boston Marathon bombings investigation. In court yesterday, defense attorneys for the surviving suspect, Jahar Tsarnaev, officially asked to have this trial moved outside of New England.
We have our Jeff Saperstone outside of the federal courthouse in South Boston with more.
And attorneys for Jahar Tsarnaev.
To Connecticut, where federal prosecutors want a British citizen who pleaded guilty to supporting terrorists to get 25 years behind bars. Prosecutors say Babar Ahmed supported Chechen fighters, the Taliban, and also al-Qaeda with websites that asked for cash and other needs.
In New Hampshire,
An alleged hired hit lands a Connecticut woman behind bars. Police say 59-year-old Cynthia Hannon hired a man to brutally attack her ex-husband. Turns out the man she approached was actually a police informant. Police say Hannon gave the man her ex's photo, also details about his routine, and she also offered to pay him $25,000. She's charged with criminal attempt at assault and conspiracy to assault. And students in one Massachusetts city are getting a special scan at schools. It's going to help police in case of an emergency.
Almost got it. There we go. Nice job.
Hundreds of students had their eyes scanned for an ID program run by the Worcester County Sheriff's Department. The information from these scans will be stored in the National Missing Persons Database. The camera captures an up-close look at the eye's iris, which is 10 times more identifiable than the fingerprint. It's also the only part of the body that will actually never change.
Fingerprints wear out.
Now, the sheriff there in Worcester County has been using this program with senior citizens for years now. He also uses the scans at the County House of Corrections to identify inmates.
Connecticut, a two-alarm.
Well, Bridget, quick-thinking neighbors are being credited with helping catch suspected arsonists in Providence, Rhode Island. Investigators say a neighbor took a picture of 3 boys setting a fire earlier this week. 3 juveniles are facing charges in connection with that blaze. Their names are not being released. And man's best friend became an air conditioner's worst enemy in Massachusetts. A dog managed to push an air conditioner out of a 3rd-story window in Methuen yesterday. Luckily, no one was hurt.
They're always getting into stuff they shouldn't, those dogs. Around the world now. So, you know how sometimes when Friday hits, I know it's not Friday yet, but there's like an air in the building, wherever you are? Well, today I feel like we have that a day ahead of time, where it's just like...
I think you two have.
You know the weekend's coming. It's because he bought coffee.
I was going to say,
is that what it is?
I never have caffeine.
I still haven't had caffeine.
Do you drink coffee?
Thanks, Justin. That was nice.
Oh, yeah. How great. Do you
That was
drink
nice.
coffee?
These two are giddy. Well, I don't today, apparently. But
Thanks,
normally,
Justin.
you know what?
I just threw you right under the
I'm
bus.
just going to keep quiet because I'm going to get myself in trouble.
That's all right. That's
You're
all
already
right.
in trouble.
No, it's you know what? Here's the deal, though.
If you're feeling burnt out at work, you are not alone.
Are you?
No, I'm actually not.
I'm having fun. It's not just the coffee. And a new survey is giving details into how many people are frustrated in the workplace. Work coffee? Is it helping? All right.
Well, yes.
Yeah, a lot of people are. According to Monster Worldwide, it's 85% of young people working they're admitting to feeling burnout at their jobs, while 75% of more experienced workers expressed being frustrated at work. And here's what I think. Those experienced workers are probably frustrated with those kids feeling burnt out.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, we've been at this for a lot longer than you, and I probably have to work till I'm 70 because I can't retire. I know,
and
it's like a
eventually you're
vicious
going to be my
cycle.
boss, and it's just this terrible thing.
I know. Well, in the meantime, just think, if you work Monday through Friday, one more day, and then we'll be at the weekend.
And it's going to be nice, according to Matt Noyes. Thank
deal.
goodness.
To our health check now.
And looking now ahead to today's World Cup matchups, Colombia will face the Ivory Coast at 11:30. Uruguay and England will play at 2:30. Then Japan and Greece take the field at 5:30. The U.S. is not back in action until Sunday.
And fast forwarding now to stories, we're tracking an investigation underway in Boston's Mattapan neighborhood.
Yeah, this after a child is found home alone. An NSTAR crew found the child yesterday morning.
The Massachusetts House has now approved a bill to raise the state's minimum wage from $8 to $11 an hour by 2017. Now it needs the governor's signature.
And tolls are coming back to the Mass Pike past Newton westbound after being gone for 18 years. That toll will be 40 cents.
Well, it's the new smartphone that's expected to give the iPhone a run for its money, but does it live up to the hype?
Now coming up, Bridget, all new at 9, a local expert breaks down Amazon's latest venture, the Fire Phone.
Matt?
All right, thanks very much.